Hi, it's Velia Person here with Person-to-Person Consulting. I am so excited to share with you my proven system to help you get organized. Now, there are going to be many steps for you to follow, but I can guarantee you that it will not be as complicated as you may think. We're going to take things one day at a time, so rushing along is not allowed. Here we go. We're going to talk about a couple of segments that you're going to be going through in this process, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, but I do want you, again, to really think about your overall goal. Okay, so many of us can set goals, but not a lot of us have directions on how to get there, right? And we will get there step by step. So I will walk you through an outline, and you will have a step-by-step process on how it is that you want to see yourself. So a lot of what I do with my clients is do an assessment of their life. And I ask them, because what your dreams are or your goals are very different than what another person's may be. So I start asking questions. I look at their life and I say, well, why do you want a coach? Why do you want somebody to help you enhance your life? What about your life do you want to fix, change, look at, whatever the case may be. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we do when we do assessment. So what I want to know is, what do you want to change? What do you want to change about your life? Because if you sought out a coach, it's because you're not happy with something. So I'll ask you, what do you want to change? So I want to know from you what you want to change, okay? So that's the first thing that we're going to talk about is change. What is the change that you are seeking in your life to overall enhance it, right? Because that's why we're here. So I want you to tell me what you want to eliminate. So many people tell me, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do that. I want to do more of this. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pretend we're making a soup, right? You're going to tell me what you want more of and what you want less of. And by that, we'll be able to figure out how to customize a plan that's suited just for you, specifically and uniquely for you. And we're also going to figure out what is cluttering your mind, whether it be something physical, something mental, something spiritual, so whatever it is that's causing that roadblock in your life, we're going to go ahead and figure out what it is and give it the right place and the right time that it deserves, okay? So that's going to be in our first segment. We're going to be talking about things of that nature. I will have a handout for you to fill out, so I want you to pay close attention to instructions that will follow, and then we'll go through there, okay? That'll be section 1. Hi, section 2, Velia Person here. Thank you so much for being with me. So in this section, we're going to be talking about what your ideal life looks like, okay? So again, everybody's ideal life is very different. So I want you to give me an outline of what your ideal life would look like. So let's say, for example, that money was no object, right? You can go everywhere and anywhere in the world. Write down where you are. Where are you living? Who are you with? Is it sunny outside? Is it raining outside? So I just want you to pretty much close your eyes and visualize what the ideal life looks like to you. And kind of just jot it down on a piece of paper. Many call this like a vision board or a goal board, right? A goal board. But what we're going to call it right now is just kind of an outline, okay? We're going to go ahead and just kind of jot some things down that are very important to you and something that you dream about, that you always think about, like, oh, I'm kind of stuck in my life, but if I had this, my life would be so much better. So let's talk about, there not being, any type of restrictions, period. So I really want you to know what your day's activities consist of. When you wake up in the morning, you're doing what? When you're at lunchtime, you're doing what? When you're in the evening, you're doing what? So give me an idea of what your daily life looks like and those activities in that ideal world, okay? We're going to talk about how you're feeling there. What are you feeling? What are the emotions that you're experiencing while you're sitting in that ideal life? All this is something you're going to really sit down, think about, close your eyes, envision yourself in that area, in that place, in your ideal spot. And I want you to cover all those things we just talked about, okay? Look forward to seeing you in section 3. Thanks so much. Hi, it's Velia Person, and you are ready for section 3. So exciting. I hope that this far you've already had an idea to really think about the changes that you want to make in your life and started visualizing yourself in an ideal situation. So we're going to talk about the things that are cluttering your mind. Let's start with the mind first. There's a lot of things that are popping into our head on a daily, secondly basis, right? What I want to talk to you about, very importantly, is what is cluttering your mind? So whatever thoughts that you may be experiencing right now, some are goal-oriented, some are just daily life, and some are just kind of going everywhere. You really don't know where they're at and what they're doing. So on this attachment right here, you will see that you will have a file to fill out. Okay, so I've already have a system where on this piece of paper, I want you to just write down everything that's coming into your head. I want you to write down thoughts, whether or not you feel they may be related to your life, anything you can think about consciously, tap into your subconscious, like any words that you think of, just write them down on a piece of paper. There is no rule to how you can write them on the corner or on the bottom, really doesn't matter. But I want you to really visualize yourself going into your mind, grabbing everything there and just emptying it on this piece of paper, if that makes sense, okay? So in this section, I want you to take quite a few minutes. It took me about an hour to do this when I did this exercise. I was sitting in a class and I had a professor and the professor was speaking to us. And for some reason, I just kept thinking about things at home, my husband, my kid, my job, and I couldn't focus on what he was saying. And I remember one time somebody saying, get a piece of paper on the side. When you have, or you're listening to a presentation and you really have questions, you can't interrupt the lesson, right? So let's go ahead and write down things that you're thinking about on a piece of paper. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. So I'm sitting in class stressing about a bunch of stuff that I really couldn't really pinpoint, right? So in the midst of that, I started writing down things that I had in my brain. I'm just thinking. All of a sudden, I write down rocks, and I look at it, well, rocks, why am I writing rocks? Doesn't even make sense. But I continue to write, and then I put it off to the side. So lo and behold, for some reason, I was able to pay attention to this professor, and whatever was kind of jumping in and distracting me was pretty much gone. So for me, it was a way of taking everything I had here and depositing it somewhere else. I was keeping it a place to be and to belong. So I went back later on and I organized the thoughts that I put on paper, and that's what I'm going to show you next. So take time. Do not rush. This is not a race for sure, but I want you to really clear out everything in your mind. When you feel like you can't write anything down on that paper, that's when you're done. Look forward to seeing you in section 4. Hi, Velia again. So excited. You are now on step 4. So really happy to have you here. Now, I've had you write down all your thoughts and all your clutter, per se, your mental clutter on a piece of paper. So you can look at me and say, now what? What do I do with all of this? So here's your next step for you. There's an attachment you're going to download on the side. And this one right here is going to help you categorize those thoughts. Interesting, right? So when we clean up our house, we know where the dishes go, we know where the socks go, we know where everything else goes. Everything has its spot, or it should anyway. So our mind also is loaded with things, and now we're going to categorize our thoughts. So all these crazy thoughts that you just wrote out on a piece of paper, we're going to tell you where to put it. So if you see on the attachment, you'll notice that it's in 4 columns, right? So the first column, in 4 squares. And so on the first square, you'll see things I have control over right now. So I want you to take a look at that paper. You see there's 4 different categories. I want you to look at the paper that you wrote down all your mental ideas or clutter on. And I want you to start categorizing, right? So number 1 are things that you can do right now, right? So look through your list and kind of pick through and say, okay, these are the things I have control over right now. I can take care of it on Monday, on Tuesday. I can take care of all of this. Then you're going to go through and start bringing down things. Wait a minute. Your box number 2, what does it say? You need somebody's help. So say you had a piece of furniture you had to move and it's been sitting there for a month. Well, you can't do it by yourself, right? So now you have to call a friend and say, hey, can you come over and help me move this thing? So that would be put on box number 2. Make sense? Box number 3 are things you have no control over because they require money. So right there is where you're going to look at your list, go down everything that's been stressing you, all of the mental clutter, go back and put it in box number 3, where you can have to just put it on the side till you have the finances to do so, right? Number 4 becomes things that you have completely no control over. And for me, that becomes my prayer list. So instead of me trying to play God and trying to fix everything, I have to know what I can control now or take care of now, what I really need somebody's help for to complete, what I just can't do anything without. If I have no money, I just can't do it, right? I just don't have the finances for it. And number 4, I really have no control. If I had help, if I had money or my own free will, I just couldn't do it. So that becomes something that is beyond my control. And that to me becomes my prayer list. So I look forward to seeing how you've organized and structured everything. So take time right now to really sit down and think about all the things you've written down and give them a place to belong. I want you to categorize your thoughts, and you're going to do that and have so much fun afterwards. Now, once they've had a place to go, you can start tackling them accordingly. So exciting to see what you do with that. Thanks so much. Hi, we are on section 5. And on section 5, we're going to talk about goal setting. So many of us talk about, I have a goal, I have a goal, I have a goal. Well, have you written that goal down? Do you know what it looks like? Do you know how long it's going to take you to attain it? And most importantly, do you know the steps you have to take to actually get it completed? Right? A lot of us get stuck there. So many times we have goals, but they're really just wishes because you haven't written them down. How many goals have you set in your life you've actually sat down, written out, and really figured out a plan and steps that you're going to be taking to attain those goals? Good question, right? Not anymore. You're going to be able to do it from now on. You're going to sit there and talk about your goals. I want you to sit there and really talk to somebody about your goals. Talk to yourself, talk to somebody, get somebody you trust, and talk about your goals. You know, is it returning to school? Is it going back to get another job? Is it, getting a craft class going? Is it starting your own business? Whatever the goal may be, I need you to sit down and write it down. Now, I'm going to challenge you a little further. After you've written it down, I want you to visualize yourself attaining that goal. How long did it take you to get there? Did you even get there? What steps did you take? Now, in this section, we're going to talk about your goals. After we've talked about your goals, we're going to have an individual sit down, you and I, and we're going to figure out steps that you need to take to attain that goal. And let me tell you another thing. That goal is going to have a deadline. We are going to date stamp that goal. So you can write a goal. That's fine. It's there. It's visual. Where are you looking at? Are you staring at it every day? Are you looking at it quite often? And most importantly, again, you and I are going to sit down and figure out the steps you need to take to attain that goal. And believe it or not, it's super doable. Exciting to coach you along the way, and more exciting to see the end results after you've taken initiative and really set the time and the passion to get it done. Are they short-term goals? Is it something you can attain in a week, a month, 3 months? Is it a long-term goal, right? Something you're going to see in a year maybe. It might take you a little bit longer. But the thing is to live day by day, every day. What you're doing every day, is it getting you closer to your goal? Yes or no? I'll ask you these questions. If it's a goal that you have and it's not getting you closer if your daily activities are not getting you closer to attaining your goal, then we need to figure out what we need to change. Does that make sense? So I'm really excited to share the steps that you're going to be taking. I'm really looking forward to our time together and really excited to watch you attain them. Thanks so much. Hi, we are on week and section. Section 6. Are we ready? All right. In this section, we're going to talk about your to-do list. A lot of people sit down and say, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then they go to bed at night and figure, I don't think I did everything I wanted to do today. Well, you're not taking into account the things you had to do. You took into account the things that you did do, and it probably didn't cross off anything on your to-do list, right? Is anybody guilty of that? I am. So that was the story of my life. I found myself doing 1,002 things a day, and I had 5 on my list. And I think I got to 1 every night. So what would happen, I would go to bed at night feeling like a complete loser. And I'll tell you, I felt like a complete loser because I went to bed thinking about the things I didn't get done instead of thinking about the things I did accomplish that day. So I'm going to challenge you to do a few things. I want you to sit down and write down a to-do list. It could be realistic or maybe not, but something you would do on a typical day or typical week. So write those things down on a to-do list. There's a form provided for you on the link below so you could download. What can you delegate from your to-do list? Are there things that maybe somebody else can take care of, or are you always busy trying to get everything done? Another challenging question for you to answer. We're going to talk about that a little more. Now, there's our different to-do lists. Now, we are moms, we are wives, we are co-workers, right? We're employees, we're entrepreneurs, we're doing a whole bunch of other things. So there's going to be a to-do list for your family life and also for your business life, but also one for your personal life. We can't forget that, okay? So I'm going to have these forms for you to download. Make sure you write down all those things, and we will discuss on the next step what we're going to be doing with that. Thanks so much.